What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about one of the breakout stars of the 2020 playoffs, and that is Luka Doncic. Now, Luka is only 21 years old, and the way he is dominating the playoffs, it is unprecedented. And because of Luka's great play, he has drawn many comparisons to current NBA stars, as well as a few NBA legends. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys who I think are the best two comparisons for Luka Doncic. And the first player I would say who is most similar to Luka is James Harden. And the one big similarity in both Luka and James Harden's game is that they are both lethal on the step-back jump shot. Now, James Harden, he is really the pioneer of the step-back jump shot, and he's really made it a patented move that is virtually unstoppable. And Luka himself has admitted he studies a lot of James Harden's film, and he really does try to patent his game after Harden. Now, Luka and Harden, they're among the league leaders in step-back jumpers taken and step-back jumpers made. And this shot, it really is a go-to move that makes these players extremely hard to guard. Another thing that makes these players so hard to guard is how good they are at changing speeds and changing angles when they get in the lane. Both these guys, they are masters of deception and maneuvering around defenses, and that makes it extremely difficult for defenders to keep these players in front of them. And if you slack off Luka and Harden, they will hit you with a step-back jumper. If you press up too hard on them, they'll find a way to maneuver around you and get in the lane and shoot a floater or kick it out to a wide-open three. And just the way both these players, they handle the ball in traffic, it is extremely similar. And the way they're able to bait defenders into falling for their little fakes, it is next level, and it's really something you can't teach. And both these players, they were definitely born with that skill. And Luka and Harden, they are both masters of the pick and roll, as they have high basketball IQs and they know how to make the right play. And I would say Harden, he is hard to guard off the pick and roll because he is a much better jump shooter than Luka, but Luka is only 21 years old and he will continue to improve his jump shot. But what makes him so deadly is how smart of a player he is and how he can read the defense and make extremely quick decisions off the pick and roll. Now, if you look at both Luka and Harden's body types, they don't look like world-class athletes who are extremely strong, but both these players, they embrace contact and they love getting to the line. And I think one of the underrated aspects of James Harden's game is how he is built like a tank, and he really is one of the strongest players in the NBA, even if he doesn't look like it. And Luka has some very similar traits of how he's much stronger than he looks, and he really will embrace contact. And if it gets a smaller defender on him, he will abuse him with his size and his strength. And even if he's playing against one of the premier defenders in the league, like Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, he has shown that he can take both those guys off the dribble, and he can definitely meet them at the rim and finish through contact. Now, the last thing I want to take a look at between both Harden and Luka is how similar their shot charts are. Now, on your screen right now, you see both Luka and Harden's shooting charts for the 2020 season, and they are virtually the same player. As you can see, both these players concentrate heavily in the paint, and their main go-to spots are the top of the key or to the right wing. It's also very interesting to see how both these players, they have really no mid-range game, and that doesn't mean they're not good mid-range shooters. That just means both these players, they opt not to take the mid-range shot, and they'd rather go all the way to the rim or shoot a three. Now, that may be more indicative of the NBA in 2020, but I do think it's very interesting how both these players, they virtually have the exact same shot chart. Now, that's really all the similarities I see between both James Harden and Luka Doncic. So the second player I would compare to Luka is none other than Larry Bird. And some might say it's way too early to be comparing Luka to Larry Bird, but I do see some striking similarities between both these players and their play style. Now, off the bat, both Luka and Bird, they are average athletes for their time, and I think both these players, being average athletes in a sport that requires players to be fast, quick, and strong, that does make them stand out. And one of the reasons I think both these players, they're able to dominate even while being average athletes, because their IQ and their understanding of the game, it is so good. Both Luka and Larry, they can read plays before they happen, and they're always 2 to 3 steps ahead of the defense, and they're basically playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Another similarity I see between both Luka and Larry Bird is how they are both very unselfish players, and they are willing passers. And actually, both Luka and Larry, they can dominate a game by not even scoring that many points and just passing the ball and being a great team player. And if you've been watching the 2020 playoffs, Luka has been dishing the ball out at an extremely high rate, and he's also been grabbing a ton of rebounds, something Larry Bird was also very great at. And both these players, they are stat stuffers, as they are elite scorers, elite rebounders, and elite passers. And I think having all three of those traits in one player, that is extremely rare to see. And I'm sure everyone watching this video, they've seen Luka's game winner versus the Clippers, and that was an all-time great shot. But what really impressed me was a few minutes before that play, Luka was casually sitting on the bench, flipping a water bottle, and this was the pivotal moment in the game. Luka felt absolutely no pressure, and it looked like he was playing in a preseason game. And I think one quote from Luka's former teammate on the Slovenian national team, Goran Dragic, it perfectly sums up why Luka has ice in his veins, just like Larry Bird.
You know, with Luka, even when we play Euro basketball, he was always having fun. That's one thing that, you know, even in the clutch moments, he was always smiling. He never feels the pressure, never. It's something that amazed me. You know, he never feels the pressure. He always comes there and like he's outside with his friends playing pickup game, and that's how he's playing. And that's why I think so he's successful, because, you know, he got that confidence that he can do whatever he thinks.
And I think the ability to feel no pressure in the clutch, that is something Larry Bird, he was known for, and he thrived in the clutch time situations, shooting the big game shots. And Luka, being only 21 years old, he seems to already have that mentality and that ability to feel no pressure in clutch time situations. And kind of building off that, both Luka and Larry Bird, they always play in control, and they're never rushed, and they always go at their own pace. And again, that kind of goes back to both these players not being great athletes and them having to dominate off their understanding of the game. And I think both of them playing at their own pace, under control, that makes them extremely similar, as they're able to dominate playing their style of basketball. I also think Luka, he's an extremely competitive person, and if you've been watching the playoffs, he's actually gotten a couple of technical fouls, and he's really feisty going at other players, and he's not afraid to get in the defense's face and talk some trash. And he was actually going at Marcus Morris, one of the notorious trash talkers and one of the toughest players in the NBA, and Luka, being only 21 years old, he was fearless, and he didn't back down from one of the toughest players in the NBA. Now, that's really all the comparisons I see between both Luka and Larry Bird, and before this video ends, I just want to address one point regarding both Luka and James Harden's playstyle, as a lot of people ask me, why does James Harden get hate for his playstyle, but Luka doesn't, when they basically have the exact same game? And that is a very interesting question, but I think it can be simply answered by saying that James Harden, he's been in the league for over 10 years, and Luka, he's only 21 years old, and he just made the playoffs, whereas James Harden, he's been to the playoffs multiple times, he's had a few dud games, and a few moments where you say he choked under pressure, and Luka, he hasn't experienced that yet, and the NBA, they're still building him up to be a superstar. And if you know anything about the NBA media, they always build up stars, and they love tearing them down and then rebuilding them. And Luka, he hasn't really experienced that yet, but I'm sure in his career he will face criticism and he will have a down series. So that is all I have to say, and that is the end of the video. And I want to get your guys' take. Who do you think is most similar to Luka Doncic? Do you think James Harden's best comparison, or do you think Larry Bird? Or maybe some other player I wasn't thinking of? Definitely let me know in the comments who you think is the most similar player to Luka Doncic. So, I hope you guys liked the video, and with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.
I think he and James Harden have maybe a similar type game for the modern game, the step-back threes, the passing ability. So I think he's a little bit like Harden. He's got a little Larry Bird, you know, with the ability to see the game, you know, a step ahead.
Yeah, he knows where everybody is, not only on offense but defense, and that's the sign of a of a savant type guy. I mean, you know, I played with Larry Bird. He could see everything like that. You know, I had the privilege of coaching Jason Kidd. He could see everything like that. You know, Luka's in that same mold.